Chapter 10. Orm stood barefoot in the kitchen, licking a spoonful of chocolate frosting. It was quiet, the kind of quiet that meant everyone was out. Her mom had gone to the market, Tun was doing who knows what with his gamer friends, and Ling was still at work. She hummed as she dipped the spoon back into the tub, swaying a little to the soft music playing from her phone. She hadn't felt this light in days, until she heard the front door open. Ling stepped in, hair tied back, crisp shirt half unbuttoned from the heat, and a file tucked under her arm. "You're home early," Orm said, mouth still full of chocolate. Ling's eyes swept over her slowly. "I can see that you're enjoying your day off?" Orm blinked, then realized she was wearing only one of Ling's shirts. Nothing else. Ling walked over and took the spoon from her hand, licking the chocolate off herself. "Delicious," she said. Orm flushed. Ling leaned in. "What else did you get up to today?" Orm shrugged. "Cleaned a bit. Watched a drama. Almost texted you a thirst trap." "You should've." "I deleted it. I hate you." "No, you don't." Ling's smile tugged wider. She leaned closer. "Send it next time." Orm turned away to hide her grin, but Ling stepped behind her and pressed a kiss to her shoulder. "And wear this shirt again." Orm's smile faded slowly, because even now she still wasn't used to being loved like this. Ling didn't bring up the deleted photo again, but the thought lingered between them. That night at dinner, Orm set the table in silence while Ling read over documents at the kitchen counter. Her mom chatted about market prices. Tun ranted about internet speed. It was all normal. Too normal. Orm found herself glancing at Ling more than usual. Her focused brow, the way her fingers tapped against the glass, the small frown she wore when she concentrated. Ling was beautiful, and Orm hated how aware she was of it now. After dinner, Tun stretched and announced he was going to meet a friend for drinks. "He moved back into the neighborhood," Tun said casually. "You remember Fawn? From uni?" Orm nodded. "The one who used to prank the professors?" "That's the one." Ling barely looked up. "The loud one." "He's hilarious." Tun grinned. "You should come, Orm." Orm blinked. "Me?" "Yeah, you always liked him. Remember that one party?" Ling's eyes lifted sharply. Tun trailed off. Orm gave a tight smile. "Sure, I'll say hi." Ling's tone was mild. "Be home before 10. Orm stiffened. "I'm not 15. "Still, be home before 10. Tun looked between them like he wanted to evaporate. "Cool. I'll just go wait outside," he said, bolting. Orm and Ling stared at each other for a beat. Then Ling looked back at her paperwork. Orm grabbed her purse with a sigh. Fine. She'd go. Just for a bit, and maybe wear something a little revealing while she was at it. The rest of the evening passed in soft rhythms. Ling sprawled on the couch, going through reports. Orm padded around in socks, reheating leftovers and nibbling at fruit. The TV played in the background, but neither paid much attention. Orm finally curled up beside Ling, resting her head on her shoulder. "You're working too hard," she murmured. Ling didn't look up. "And you're distracting me." Orm smirked. "Good." Ling's pen froze. "You're doing it on purpose?" Orm leaned closer, letting her breath brush Ling's cheek. "What if I am?" Ling's eyes flicked toward her. Heat simmered in that glance, but she stayed composed, barely. "You want something?" Ling asked. Orm played innocent. "Just attention. You get that every night. Maybe I want extra tonight." Ling snapped the file shut. "Then stop teasing." Orm kissed her neck in response. That night, Ling made good on her promise. But the next morning, things shifted. At brunch with one of Orm's old friends, a guy named Finn who'd just returned from studying abroad, Orm laughed a little too much at his jokes, touched his arm, let him refill her drink. Nothing serious, nothing wrong, except she felt it. That unmistakable weight of Ling's stare from across the table. She didn't say a word. Didn't have to. Orm's stomach fluttered. She didn't know why she'd done it. No, she did. She wanted to know what would happen when Ling got jealous. The car ride home was unusually quiet. Ling drove with one hand on the wheel, her gaze fixed on the road, not cold, not angry, just unreadable. Orm sat beside her, fidgeting with the hem of her dress. She hated the silence. It felt worse than yelling. Finally, she said, "Finn's harmless." Ling didn't respond. Orm cleared her throat. "We were just catching up." Still nothing. Orm turned to her. "You're not mad?" Ling's mouth twitched into something that might have been a smile. "Should I be?" Orm hesitated. "No." "Then I'm not." But her tone was too calm, too smooth. Orm crossed her arms. "You're being weird." Ling shrugged. "Maybe I'm just tired." Orm didn't believe her for a second. When they got home, Ling disappeared into her office, saying she had work to finish. She didn't kiss Orm goodnight. She didn't even touch her. That night, Orm lay in bed alone. The silence pressed in from every direction. What had she expected? That Ling would grab her in the car, accuse her of being too friendly, take her then and there? Maybe. Orm stared at the ceiling. She wanted to know how far she could push her. But what if she pushed too far? What if Ling wasn't jealous because she didn't care? That thought made her chest tighten. Worse than anger. Worse than punishment. What if the silence meant she'd broken something? The next day, Orm barely saw Ling. She left early, came home late, texted only when necessary. Nothing flirty, nothing warm. Orm tried not to care. But she did. She burned. By noon, she was snapping at Tan for no reason. By 2, she was cleaning the house aggressively. By 4, she was sitting in Ling's office chair, spinning in circles like an overgrown child. "She's ignoring me," she muttered to no one. Her mom passed by the door. "What did you do this time?" "Nothing." "Exactly." Orm slumped forward with a groan. She didn't even get mad. Her mom leaned on the doorframe. "Maybe that's worse." Orm glared. "Whose side are you on?" "Ling's. Obviously. You're supposed to be my mother. I'm also not stupid." Her mom smirked. "You poked the dragon. Now you're mad she didn't roast you." "Stop making sense." Her mom laughed and walked off. Orm stared at Ling's desk. The surface was clean, organized, predictable. Ling always said her office was where she kept her mind straight. No distractions, no feelings, just business. But what if Orm had become one of the distractions? She stood up abruptly, went to the bedroom, and pulled out the dress Ling hated, the one from the early days, the one that dipped low in front and clung in all the wrong ways. If Ling wanted to act like she didn't care, Orm would make sure she noticed. Dinner was unusually formal. Orm's mom had invited over a distant cousin visiting from abroad. Tun had been tasked with entertaining him, which mostly meant bragging about his streaming numbers while their guest politely nodded. Orm descended the stairs slowly. The dress clung like it had been painted on. She'd curled her hair, worn heels, lip gloss that shimmered. She looked like the woman she used to be, before all this. Before Ling. And Ling? Ling saw her the moment she stepped into the dining room. Her gaze flicked over the neckline, the slit in the skirt, the curve of Orm's bare shoulder. Ling's jaw tensed, just a little, but she didn't say anything. Orm took the seat across from her. Ling looked away. Orm smiled at the guest a little too sweetly, laughed too brightly at Tan's dumb jokes. She let her hand rest lightly on the cousin's arm when he passed the salt. She could feel Ling watching, feel her own pulse quicken every time she turned her head just slightly to meet those dark, unreadable eyes. But Ling stayed quiet, utterly composed. Orm wanted to scream. She wanted Ling to drag her away mid-meal, throw her against the wall, punish her for every glance and giggle. But Ling just ate her food, thanked the guest for visiting, and excused herself first when dinner was done. Orm sat frozen in her chair. What game was she playing? And why did it hurt this much? Orm found her upstairs. Ling stood by the window in their bedroom, arms crossed, her silhouette outlined by the glow of the streetlights outside. She didn't turn when Orm entered. The silence hit harder in the confined space. Orm closed the door softly behind her. "You're still not going to say anything?" Ling didn't respond. Orm took a step forward. "You hated that dress. I wore it just to piss you off." "I know." That made Orm pause. "You're not going to punish me?" Ling finally turned. Her expression was cool, but her eyes, those eyes were on fire. "I'm trying not to," she said. Orm's breath caught. Ling took a step forward. "You want to test me?" Orm stood her ground. "You ignored me for 2 days. And that made you flirt with someone else?" Orm hesitated. "I didn't flirt, She cut herself off. "Okay, maybe a little." Ling closed the distance between them. "Why?" Orm swallowed. "Because you didn't say anything. You acted like you didn't care." Ling's voice dropped to a whisper. "You think I don't care?" Orm didn't answer. Ling reached up, cupped her cheek gently, and said, "I care so much I've been trying not to break you." Then she kissed her. Hard. Possessive. Orm melted instantly. Finally. Finally, Ling was back. But Orm had no idea what she'd unleashed. Ling pushed her back slowly, deliberately, until Orm's knees hit the edge of the bed. Orm fell onto the mattress, breath caught in her throat, the heat of Ling's body pressing down on her. Her shirt, no, Ling's shirt, rode up her thighs. "You want to act like a brat," Ling murmured, voice low and dangerous. "Then I'll treat you like one." Orm whimpered, eyes wide. Ling flipped her over, hands firm and unrelenting, pinning her against the sheets. She didn't ask permission, didn't need to. Her fingers found their way between Orm's legs, sliding in without hesitation. 1, 2, 3. Orm cried out, body arching as the stretch made her shake. "You're dripping," Ling said, amused. "All that pretending you didn't care, was it just to get my fingers inside you?" Orm could barely form words. "Shut up!" Ling grinned against her neck. "You love this." Her fingers moved faster, deeper, while her free hand held Orm down. The sheets twisted beneath them, the air thick with the sounds of wetness and gasping breaths. Orm sobbed into the pillow, trembling, overwhelmed. "I warned you," Ling whispered. "Next time, think twice before trying to make me jealous." Orm came hard, broken moans swallowed by the bed. Ling didn't stop right away. She didn't stop until Orm was limp and ruined, and even then, she only pulled back enough to whisper, "Mine." Orm lay sprawled across the bed, legs still trembling. Ling didn't leave. She curled around her, brushing sweaty hair away from Orm's cheek, planting soft kisses on her temple, her shoulder, the curve of her spine. The silence now was warm, safe, devastating in a whole different way. Orm's body ached, but it was the sweet kind of pain, the kind that made her feel claimed. Her voice was hoarse when she said, "You could have just talked to me, you know." Ling chuckled low in her throat. "And miss the chance to ruin you?" Orm turned her face toward her, sulky. "You're mean." "I'm yours." Orm blinked. She hated how easily that made her stomach flutter. "Do you—" She hesitated, then forged ahead. "Do you ever feel like you're too much for me?" Ling looked at her for a long moment. "No, I think you want more than you admit." Orm stared at the ceiling. "You terrify me." "I adore you." "That's worse." Ling laughed and pulled her tighter. "Sleep. I'll behave tomorrow." "You won't." "No," Ling agreed, smug. "But I'll say I will." Orm let out a tired huff and let her eyes close. She still didn't know what to make of this woman she'd married, but her body knew her now. Her heart was catching up, and no matter how much she pretended otherwise, being loved like this, she was starting to crave it. Orm woke with Ling's arms still wrapped around her. It was strange how someone so terrifying in the dark could feel like safety in the morning. Ling was already awake, watching her. "You okay?" she asked softly. Orm blinked sleepily. "No, I can't feel my legs." Ling smiled. "Good." Orm groaned and buried her face in the pillow. They stayed like that for a few minutes, quiet and tangled, until the knock came at the door. It was Tun. "Breakfast," he called. "Also, Mom wants to know if Orm survived the night." Ling smirked. "Barely." Orm tossed a pillow at the door. "Tell her I want privacy and pancakes." Later, at the table, Orm sat gingerly, shooting Ling dirty looks. Her mom raised an eyebrow. "Ling didn't go easy on you, huh?" Orm coughed on her juice. Ton snorted. "So that's a yes." "Mind your business," Orm snapped, cheeks red. Her mom smiled. "We're just happy you're happy." "I'm not," Orm muttered. "I'm ruined." Ling reached over and calmly stole a piece of toast off Orm's plate. "My ruined wife." Orm stared at her, mouth open. "You don't get toast privileges." Ling shrugged, already chewing. Orm's mom and brother shared a knowing look. They weren't the most traditional couple, but somehow this chaos was starting to feel like home. After breakfast, Orm lingered in the kitchen, trying to look busy rinsing dishes. Her mom didn't fall for it. "You know," she said casually, "you're Ling. She's different with you." Orm glanced over. "Different how?" Her mom leaned against the counter. "She was always composed, polite, distant, but when she talks about you, she lights up." Orm rolled her eyes. "She lights up when she's threatening to ruin me in bed." Her mom laughed. "And yet you're still here, aren't you?" Orm scrubbed a mug harder than necessary. "It's not like I have a choice." Her mom gave her a look. "What?" "You do," she said. "You always had. You just didn't want to take it." Orm froze. The water kept running. The sponge in her hand was soaked and forgotten. Her mom stepped closer. "You stayed because you wanted to. Because no matter what you tell yourself, this, her, the way she looks at you, the way she touches you, you like it." Orm's cheeks burned. "You make it sound so true," Orm groaned. Her mom grinned and walked off. And Orm stood there, heart pounding, staring at her reflection in the kitchen window. She was right. Orm could have walked away any time, but she hadn't, and she wouldn't, because Ling's love wasn't gentle, but it was hers. Orm returned to their bedroom and shut the door quietly behind her. The room still smelled like Ling, amber, citrus, and something darker she couldn't name. Her legs still ached from the night before. Her lips tingled from the kiss Ling had stolen that morning. She stood in the center of the room and stared at the bed. She wasn't confused anymore. She wasn't just submitting because it was expected of her, or because it made her mother happy, or because she had nowhere else to go. She wanted Ling, her strength, her arrogance, her possessiveness. She wanted Ling to touch her the way she did, to whisper filthy things into her ear, to ruin her with soft kisses and rough hands. And she wanted to be ruined, over and over again. Orm climbed into bed and pulled Ling's pillow close to her face. Her heart raced. She'd pretended for so long that she didn't care, that this marriage was just a cage she'd learned to live in. But it wasn't a cage. It was a fire, and she was choosing to stay in it. Because for the first time in her life, she didn't want safety. She wanted heat. She wanted Ling. Ling returned late that night, expecting silence. Instead, she found Orm curled up on the bed in one of her shirts, awake and waiting. Ling paused in the doorway. "You're still up?" Orm nodded. "I was thinking." Ling raised an eyebrow. "Dangerous." Orm smiled faintly. "I know." Ling set her keys down and crossed the room. She looked tired, but when her eyes landed on Orm, really landed, something softened in her face. "I'm sorry I ignored you," Ling said quietly. "I was trying not to make things worse." Orm reached for her hand. "You didn't." "I did." Ling blinked. Orm sat up straighter. "You scare me sometimes." Ling looked down. "I know, but I like it," Orm added. "I like you. I want you, even when I act like a brat." Ling looked at her, eyes searching. "You mean that?" Orm's gaze didn't waver. "Yes?" Ling exhaled slowly and touched her cheek. Then don't test me next time. Just tell me what you want. I want you to take me. Ling stilled. I want to feel yours. Not because I have to, but because I want to. Ling's lips parted. Her eyes darkened. I can do that, she whispered. Orm smiled. Then do it.